And just like that, 2 seconds after doing the last video, we are right into the next video of farm machinery and equipment. You can't have a farm without equipment. I don't care what anybody says. We have went from every various type of equipment, tractor, you name it, implement. The only thing that has stayed on the farm from, well, when Grandpa bought it was a 1945 Farmall M that my grandfather, his dad, bought brand new in 1945, and we will show that in a little whirl. And then the next being this 1968 Ford 4400 backhoe that used to be at the cemetery. And then they bought another backhoe, and my grandfather, who at the time was trustee, they were going to sell it. He's like, just deliver the thing to the farm. So that's what they did. I believe that was mid-70s, early mid-80s or so. And we've since then took good care of it. The only thing that we've done differently is we put a quick change on it. I do not much care for it, but it is nice in a pinch to be able to throw the bale speeder on it and go out and move bales if the 6120 were to play dead. You can't grade right with it, but it's better than using a scoop shovel. So we've since then, like I said, redone this structure. Got a John Deere 1590 grain drill in here. We used to have a, oh, why am I thinking Great Plains, and that's not even it. Suck-up, however you pronounce it. Marlis grain drill. It had the no-till holders in the front, and then it had this set up back here. It was completely different. It raised, the whole entire machine raised and lowered. This just raises and lowers with the openers. It is ground driven. Got a New Holland 185 manure spreader. I think I can picture it clear as day. It was a single axle. Oh, it was one of the narrower tired ones. I think it might have been a 165 manure spreader, just with a single beater, and it too had a slop gate. It's a good spreader. I like it. The only thing I would change about this is just a little bit taller, a little bit taller sides for hauling, slop with it. When you get them really sloppy loads, it kind of just wants to run all over the place, but it is what it is. At least it's got a splash gate on the front that keeps it from splashing over. We used to have a Haybine New Holland. We've since then got away from that and bought a disc bine that used to sit right inside there where the Farrowing house was, and it has been a good machine. You can go from 7 to 10 mile an hour with this thing, any day of the week. The Honey Wagon, that is the same. That's been here since 1970. That's a newer addition. We used to have a lot of steel trailers back when, and they rust out too darn quick. So we're like, well, it's time to go with aluminum, because aluminum never rusts. We've since then been through a couple of different mowers. That one there is working phenomenal for our needs. I like this type of mower, this design. It don't have any corners to get bent, broken, caught on. It all just flows. You can't make hay without hay rakes. So that's what them are. Two New Holland 258, 256s actually, hay rakes that do a bang up job of raking hay. You can't rake hay, well, let me back up. After you mow your hay, you gotta have a way to get the hay dry, am I right? I know that I'm right, okay? There's people out there that'll argue all day long until they are blue in the face that what I'm about to show is the stupidest thing ever when it comes to making hay, and it's that. People say that this is one of the most stupidest jobs ever, is tedding hay. And I differ. How else are you gonna get your hay dry after it's mowed and it's laying there in a windrow behind the disc vine? How else are you gonna get it tore apart? So we've since then had a New Holland 163 manual folding tedder that folded behind itself. We've since then gotten rid of that and got a hydraulic folding tedder, which has worked good for our operation. It's amazing all the stuff that we've had in the past. Old F12 farm wall. And the farm wall M that we currently have. There's me with Dad on his F12. His project tractor, 1105 Massey, 1150 Massey, excuse me. Then we get the 1086. There's what the M looked like before we restored it. That's what I was talking about, how before we built that Pharaoh house, that's what that looked like. Another shot of the M. 2745 Massey. Academy working ground. The old 1440 International. Old John Deere 16A green chopper. The 1440 is sitting in where looks like the sprayer building is now. Anybody recognize that guy? A couple of the old sprayers we started out with. Dad's international grain truck he did for a school project. And Grandpa standing by a crawler at a tractor show. Told you guys I thought I had a picture of the Haybine. That's him there coming in the drive on the Heston. That's their house trailer just to the right, it looks like. It was before we had the addition built, obviously. The old Freightliner we had back in the day. That picture will never get old. Me on my John Deere B. Couple better pictures of that Massey 2745 we had. My grandfather and I, and the Massey Harris tractors he had. I think that says 03 or something. He liked to do videos. And then we got the 7800. Dad loading his International. Little 4-row corn head he had back at the time. My grandfather's house back behind. So that is the hayfield just outside of the farmhouse. And Grandpa liked taking me for tractor rides when I was a baby. This is Alice Chalmers. The old farm hand grinder we had. I was big into lining all the tractors up for Flag Day and all that. Still am big into it. 3-point broom we had to go on the back of the tractor, sweep the road. Then that's when we got the one to go on the front skid loader. Little 15-foot grain head. That was the best darn thing we ever had. We should have never got rid of the stupid thing. Was that rake tedder. Should have never let the thing go. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you next time. So we got a 2015 John Deere 6120E with, I just think, shy of 1,300 engine hours on it. Bought it in 2019 with 300 hours on it from Mass Tractor Sales. I guess I should mention too that the other thing that came with that Farmall M from the other farm was that 1963 John Deere 3010, purchased brand new in 63. And it has been a really good tractor. No hiccups whatsoever, except a couple little minute things with the batteries and we have since then done a 12-volt conversion on it from 24, and that 4020 is my father's pride and joy. He bought that thing when he was 15, and he is really proud of his 4020. He uses it every opportunity that he can get to farm with. Got the combine sitting in here waiting for soybeans. We used to have a little, well, I shouldn't say little, because small-time farmers would look at me funny. We used to have a 1440 International at the time, until we decided to go bigger, more land. Needed a bigger combine, so this is what we got at the time, with a 30-foot grain head and a 20-foot grain head at the time too, just to make things go a little bit smoother. 20 foot is the smallest grain head you can put on a 2388. I don't know about the 2588s, 2577s, and whatnot and so forth. Little Heston here, that was purchased in June of 1985 Heston. Purchased, I want to say brand new, yes. And it is, the only thing we've done to this is a couple batteries, a starter. Never had the head gasket removed. We've patched a fuel tank a couple of times, and to this day, knock on wood or whatever the superstitious thing is, it has never used a drop of oil in between oil changes. I don't know if that's true for all Hestons, but it's true for this one. So that building there where the pigs are, this here used to be all grass at one time, and this was setting out here kind of probably somewheres in the neighborhood of right there. We since then slid the thing back, made a pen again, and that's where the pigs are that live out back here. 1995 John Deere 7200, or 94, I believe. It's been a good tractor. We used to have a 1086 International, and it was a okay tractor, but it had a lot of transmission problems and things like that. We've since then acquired a lime truck. Actually, this used to be a water truck. Somebody wanted to stop and look at the thing somewhere on the way home from an event, and I told him no. He turned around and went back and looked at it. We bought it. It used to be a water truck. It came to us just as a cab and chassis. The Chevy fertilizer truck, you guys will see in a little bit, used to have that bed on it until we got to looking, and the frame just... So that is what has happened there. It's a little bit on the underside of horsepower, but it is what it is for a 4700. We've since then got another corn head that matches the combine, because an 863 or 1063 would not fit a 2388 combine. So we had to go, I believe this is a 2206. No? 2204. Nope, I was right. 2206. Okay. Nice thing about plastic is a plastic head is it doesn't rust. Okay? There's still components on the inside that have to be oiled and greased. So on and so forth. New Holland 648 round baler. We've had this thing since I believe 2001, 2002. It's been a really good baler. John Deere 7800. We bought this shortly after we bought the 7200 because we sold our big Massey. It was a 2745 that had a lot of problems, and it went down the road. We tried using the 1086 for a while. That was our haymaking tractor. We're like, hey, we need a different tractor, something a little more versatile. This is our grain cart working tractor, haymaking tractor. It does do tillage when we needed to, and so on and so forth. The John Deere 7200 is our spraying tractor. It mows hay when we needed to, and primarily round bales hay, or primarily square bales hay, because it has all the giblets and bells and whistles for the square baler. So if you guys are enjoying the second part of this video, I want to encourage you to hit that subscribe button, because you will never doubt in your mind that you did the wrong decision. You'll know that you've done the right decision by subscribing to me. Got a 1999 John Deere 7810 here. This was the second to last tractor that we bought. This does anything from heavy tillage work to running the grain cart when need be, to setting on the brush hog, because we keep the duals on this tractor all year round, and we need the duals in the front wheel system to mow with sometimes, because there's been instances where we have gotten stuck with this tractor. And what better way, what are you going to do with all that grain you harvest? You got to have somewhere to store it. So back in 1970, 80 or so, used to have a tower dryer that sat right there. Then we had that farm fans that some of you guys might remember. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section too if you guys remember any of this stuff from my videos, because I'd like to see just what, you know, if you guys remember anything better off than I do. So the farm fans used to sit there. That laid down in 2018, I believe. It laid down, and we've been blessed with a Super Bee dryer. We've since then, that oat's been right there, just on the other side of that soybean meal bin. It's kind of tucks back in behind the building. Somewhere's right there, that 1,500 bushel bin. That bin used to be over there where that 5,000 bushel wet bin is with the drying floor in it. That bin there used to be the wet bin, okay? We tried using that just shortly after we put that dryer in, and we come to a problem. Anybody that knows, when you pick corn, you can fill 1,500 bushel faster than a continuous flow dryer can handle it. So that didn't work. So we're like, well, what are we going to do? 5,000 bushel wet bin keeps up with the dryer just, or I should say the dryer Keeps up with the wet bin nicely. When we would pick corn with this dryer and the 1500 bushel wet bin, if we started at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we would be done. We would have to wait for the dryer to play catch up with the wet bin by 4:30, 5 o'clock, because that is how teeny tiny that wet bin was. Now we can go till, if we start at 2 or 3 in the afternoon, that'll be full by 7, 8 o'clock at night. Plus we can use for storage too if we need to. So this here, we kind of did some changes. Like I said, this was our last bin that we put in. We made that bin, this is a 1700 bushel bin. That's 3100 bushel. That's 5,000. That's 23,000 bushel sticking up through the back there. This here used to be all grass, probably from what you guys can remember. And we tore the grass out so that way we weren't fiddle farting around with trying to clean spilled grain up in grass and everything. And we had to reconfigure this too for this bin here. The pasture there used to come out straight from that post right there and drew a straight line here. I don't remember if it went on that side of the post or this side to the pasture, but the pasture kind of snaked down and around and continued going that way. We've since then just drew a straight square and called it a day. It sure helps having a place to store all your grain. We still have to truck some out too, but at least we can keep some on site. We haven't had to use that wet bin for corn storage. We might have to, but with a drying floor, you have to clean it out all the time because wet corn loves to mold. So we've since then left this here permanently. This is what our intentions were of letting this permanent, and then the other auger there can be wheeled up and out of the way just by, you know, moving a hopper, getting a skid loader, and moving that auger out back. This here stays permanent 24/7. So what we intended for, and it works out just nice. So if you guys enjoyed this video, I want to say thank you, and I hope you guys stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you next time.